Thanks for joining me, Bastish B, for Sega 100%, my ongoing look at all things Sega from classic console games, arcades, and modern releases for retro systems. Now let's check out the first game. And let's go over to the Mega Drive for our first look, which is Real Bout Fatal Fury Genesis, which was released on the Mega Drive and Genesis in the summer of 2024. This game is a fan-made mix of SNK's mid-90s Fatal Fury game, Real Bout, and its enhanced version, Special. But this 16-bit version does its own original thing as well, so you can think of it as a bit of a remixed homage to both those entries. The Mega Drive got Fatal Fury back in the day, as well as its sequel, but the Saturn got the Real Bout Fatal Fury conversion, as the Mega Drive was on its last legs when this game hit the arcade at that time. But if it was released as it is here, it would have blown minds back then. The game was developed by Brazilian coder Rio Gamer, who has done a phenomenal job bringing this to the system in such an absolutely professional way. First up, it's in Portuguese, but you can switch that to English in the menu, and then you'll see all the options from difficulty settings, custom controller setups, an actual achievements list so you can track all your progress, and all the other standards. When you initially jump in, it's shocking how smooth the animation is, the absolute size of the characters, and the eye-melting amount of color on display. It's real deal arcade quality on the Mega Drive. The game has 4 main modes. Your standard arcade mode, fighting your way to the final boss, with insult-throwing interludes in between. The survival mode is seeing how many opponents you can take out with 1 round each until you die. Versus is obviously you slapping up your best friend until he cries and runs home to his mama. And training is something that most later Versus games instituted as a standard after this era for the most part, and is included for newbies to a series, giving you a chance to practice moves without the prospect of getting murdered in the process. They packed a lot of content into the 5 megabytes, or what would have been a 40 meg cartridge, somewhere along the lines of Capcom's original Super Street Fighter 2 release on the system. Not all the characters from Real Bout are here though. There are a few missing, most notably Andy Bogard, one of my favorite characters, but the 9 available, not counting variants, is more than enough, especially when you see the complete moveset in motion. Other minor things removed are the multiple planes of fighting, and it opts for a simple one-plane Street Fighter style, which honestly isn't really missed, as are the barrier ring-outs, which were just Neo Geo flashy arcadeness anyway. What you have here is a brilliant remix that is tailor-made for the system, with gorgeous graphics, extremely accurate controls, the massive SNK style sound effects, which are really vital to fighting games, and some great renditions of the music on top of all that. As a 90s versus arcade brat, this is a brilliant version of SNK's monster fighting game. Bringing it home to the Mega Drive in this remix style is really impressive to say the least, and most importantly, it's a free download and obviously playable on a real system via a flash cart, of course. So links in the download or in the video description. Enjoy it. And now some quick looks at a couple of Sega classics. So today I want to take a quick look at 2 forgotten Sega 1980s arcade games. And we'll start with 1986's Quartet, a 4-player platformer run and gun that felt when I played it back in the day like a side-scrolling science fiction version of Gauntlet, right down to its 4 players at once mechanic. In the game you have to win back a base that's been overrun by robots, defeat the level bosses, and gain a key to move on to the next level. There are 32 of them in total. The game sports some early graphics works by the late great Reiko Kodama of Phantasy Star and Skies of Arcadia fame, and is a very enjoyable overall System 16 game that's kind of been forgotten. You can only imagine what they can do with the 4-player mechanic with a modern gaming twist. It did get a re-release on the PS2 in the early 2000s through the Japanese-only releases of the Sega Ages series, but hopefully we'll see it make a comeback one day in a true sequel form. And we'll move on a bit to 1989, which saw the release of Beirut, a collaboration between Sega and Sunsoft, and pretty much a Contra clone in 16-bit form, before the real 16-bit versions appeared, as in 1989 8-bit consoles and computers were still the main source of home gaming. You have to rescue the president's daughter who's been held hostage in the dumpster fire city of Beirut in the not too distant future. Classic arcade storyline. It's a total run and gun with plenty of weapon pickups like massive flamethrowers, spread shots, and giant fortress tough boss encounters, a forced scrolling vehicle stage, and good old one-hit kills for your character over its pretty big 7 stages. This game replaced my beloved Vigilante at my local arcade in the early 90s, and I got to play it a lot, but then never saw it ever again, and it's never been re-released in any form. It offers nothing really original, but is still a fun game from start to finish, and has some really funky Sega/Sunsoft music, which has some really good beats. It's pretty difficult and was a real coin killer back then, but check it out on MAME if you never have. If you're a Contra fan, it's definitely worth a look. And back to the Mega Drive for our final look today at Hayato's Journey,
ハヤトジャーニーや転生伝ストーリー
which is a new 2024 Mega Drive/Genesis release, a side-scrolling action platformer that is described by the developers as a spiritual sequel to Sega's Master System release from 1988, Kenseiden, where you play the samurai Hayato as he fights against demons and ghosts in 16th century Japan. It's very much in the style of Sega's own Shinobi, just a lot faster and a lot more frantic action. This new Mega Drive game is powered by the Scorpion engine and is basically like an unofficial sequel. You play Hayato again, as you have to collect all 5 secret scrolls and retrieve the ancient sacred sword, as well as rescue innocent civilians and clan members, plus free your girlfriend Sakura from the evil warlord Yon inside. This is a really well put together fan game with impressive visuals and an excellent music score. There are assets taken from lots of other classic games that I can recognize at least, like Shinobi 3 on the Mega Drive, the original Kenseiden, of course, and the Willow arcade game, and a whole lot more, but everything is so well integrated into the mix that nothing really feels out of place or weirdly cut and pasted. It blends seamlessly into the mix. Gameplay is all about speed, pushing forward, and precise timing. You have a whole host of sword moves as seen in the splash screen intro, plus the sword can be upgraded into a projectile version. You also have access to long-ranged attacks, fire replenishable arrows for your bow, a cool mid-air sword spin, and of course a limited screen-killing Shinobi-style move. Due to constant attacks, the game forces you to keep moving, where timing is going to be key to your success. It's not an easy game, but once you get into the flow, it can become quite a rush, broken up by many big boss encounters and also various forced speed stages where you take to a horse, Shinobi 3 style, or a makeshift sled, kinda like in Sonic 3. The graphics, like I said earlier, blend together very well, and a lot of variety in the stage looks, plus small gameplay variations like dodging sequences and rapid fire platforming. The music is really awesome, pure ancient Japan flavored tunes with some nice satisfying sound effects. Hayato's Journey is really a must play. Despite its spark difficulty, I think any Kenseiden or Shinobi fan will be very pleased to take this action filled journey. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Please subscribe to 64K for future episodes of retro gaming goodness.